All right, good morning, IHSA football family. It is time now for Games of the Week 7. My name is Coach Big Pete, aka Peter Limer. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. At the end of this video, the polls for Week 7 will be shown at the end of this video. Make sure you check them out. And also, again, if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal link below. The link will be below. And just some quick reminders too. Deep Dish Football Live tonight, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Do Patreon and Shoot Show with my co-host Patrick Cotto tomorrow on Thursday. Deep Dish Football Game of the Week. Deep Dish Football Road Trip. Yes, I am finally coming to the Black Diamond Conference, and I am excited to watch some good football against Sesser-Valier versus Johnston City. I'm really excited about this game. It's been 5 years in the making. Yeah, 5 years in the making. So, well, first I want to get into something first. Some of the player participation has gone down, and it's been, increased, I think, a little bit by COVID. And we're not talking about it, but there's teams that don't even have enough kids to play a game in Central and Southern Illinois, or to go into a JV thing. I think we need to talk about it. I think it needs to be more addressed, especially in the off season. I'm going to do some more addressing too. And if you're a parent and you're talking to another parent that's worried about their kid playing football, talk to that parent and just do a bunch of talking points with them. And I think the most important thing is this: does this game have concussions in it? Yes, it does, like any other sport. But I think also this game has gotten safer. I think our coaches have gotten a lot better. And I think the trainers do a wonderful job. And I think the way that we tackle now, especially when we teach the kids to hawk tackle, is a lot safer. A rugby style tackle is a lot safer. And I think a lot of kids are taking it into more of the mindset of being safer in their tackling. I think that needs to be addressed more. And it sucks that media and certain things have to exacerbate the whole thing of the concussions and all this other stuff. And the game is getting safer. The game is getting a lot better. I think that needs to be addressed. And I think parents, kids, journalists have to start talking about that more. So, let's get started. Week 7, IHSA football. Games of the week. Lincoln, big shout to Lincoln. They take on Effingham this week. Lincoln's, they're looking good this season. They're looking really, really good this season. Coach Silky deserves a big shout for what he's done. That game got canceled. I believe Mamahood Seymour is playing Peoria Richwoods in the Apollo. Taylorville couldn't play due to COVID restrictions. Kingston at Dixon's is always a very interesting game too. Bryan's, I think that's going to be one against Oregon. Bryan's going to be definitely a big team. Stillman Valley versus Winnebago is always a huge game in the Big Northern. Definitely a game that you want to check out. When we get into the Big Northern Conference, let's go down a little bit more. And as always, I do not know why you guys love this video so much. You guys really do love this video and article, especially me going through the games on IHSA.org for Week 7. Black Diamond, as I talked about, I'm going to the Sesser-Valier at Johnston City game. I'm really excited about that game. Definitely going to be a big game to watch. I'm keeping a very close eye out on Breeze Central. Breeze Central is looking really good this year. So definitely checking out Breeze Central. Salem as well. I'm keeping another close eye on Salem as well. St. Therese at Tuscola is always going to be a big game in the Central Illinois Conference. Definitely a game to check out. Rochester versus Glenwood. Oh my God, that's a huge game. Glenwood's only got one loss. Rochester's got only one loss. It's always an epic battle. I'm excited for that game. Rochester, Glenwood's always going to be a big game. Springfield, Jacksonville. Springfield's got to turn the motors on right now. Sacred Heart Griffin at the Decatur MacArthur. That's another big game in the Central State 8. No doubt about that for Week 7. And Sacred Heart Griffin, they got some talent. They really do have some talent this year. No doubt about that. Central Suburban North. Nah, not really. New Trier, Glenbrook South. You have to mention that game. That's the big dog game right there. New Trier, Glenbrook South. Glenbrook South just lost to Maine South last week. Can Glenbrook South bounce back against a very tough New Trier team? No doubt about that one. Admison out of Chicago, they're undefeated. I'm forgetting one of their school. Kelly, it looks great in the Chicago Chicago Avenue division. Yeah, and Hyde Park as well. Hyde Park from Chicago, big shoulders, is definitely deserves to be talked about even more. Yeah, so we got that. Simeon Morgan Park is always a good game, and yeah, that's always a big game. Definitely a big game. Batavia, Geneva is always a big rivalry game. I went there 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Can Geneva bounce back after a tough loss? But this is against an undefeated Batavia team. Wheaton Warrenville South, big rivalry game in that town. Big shout out to Wheaton North. They're doing their thing right now. Fox Valley, Jacobs at Cary Grove. The Jacobs is taking on a tough Cary Grove team. Can Jacobs get that upset? That's going to be a huge question. Prairie Ridge is definitely going to bounce back against Dundee Crown, no doubt about that. Huntley and Hampshire is another interesting game as well. Sort of a last-ditch effort for Huntley against a tough Hampshire team that's looking great, by the way. Big shout to Hampshire football. They deserve to be talked about more, no doubt about that. The quarterback is doing unbelievable things. Got a little bit worried in the first beginning games of Hampshire, but now they're playing lights out now. Congratulations. Toledo Union, no. Toledo Union is looking good. Monticello's always good. Those are going to be two great teams going into the playoffs. Lyle versus Wilmington is a huge game in Interstate 8, in Illinois Central 8. Reed Custer at Streeter, big game 2. Peatone Coal City. Oh, we got some big games in Illinois Central 8. I'm telling you that right now. Peatone's playing a tough Coal City team that's getting back there. And how do you stop Coal City? That's going to be a very interesting game for Peatone Coach Tolley. Ottawa at Morris. That's an interesting game too. Ottawa's got a running back who's just absolutely destroying the game right now in Illinois. He's having just a great season. Definitely a guy that you want to check out. Plano at Marengo is an interesting game. Marengo, you got to do something against a very tough Plano team. No doubt about that. Abdigan and Avon definitely deserves to be talked about. They're still undefeated as well. Definitely interesting team when we talk about that, especially Abdigan and Avon's rushing attack as well. I'm really liking this school. Mount Carmel at Newton. Mount Carmel, the Golden Aces are flying high right now. Definitely a team you need to check out in that smaller school bracket. They're in my polls as well. Make sure you check out the polls at the end of this video. Pekin at Metamora, big game. Warden's looking good. I'm talking about Warden in Central Illinois. They're upsetting some teams, so definitely check out Warden. Hoffman Estates versus Corn. It's always a good big rivalry game. Hoffman Estates is hot, on fire. Aiden Kreider, the quarterback. Again, we got to talk about him more. Barrington and Palatine, another interesting game as well. Mascata versus Civic Memorial, interesting game too. Not that much going on in the Northern Suburban Conference. Again, in Warren Township, they're taking the ball and they're running with it. I think they're going to win in Northern Suburban. I don't see any team challenging them. Lake Forest, yeah, but it's like I think Lake Forest is going to be in second place in North Suburban. That's just my personal feeling. We go into Northern Illinois. Who's playing Harlem at Belvedere North? Big game right there. Belvedere North lost to Hanahu. This could be a big bounce back game. Harlem's rocking a 1-loss season, so definitely a game you got to check out. Let's go into Northern Lake County. Let's see who Wakanda plays. North Chicago. I think that's going to be a win for Wakanda. Grays Lake Central and at Antioch is always going to be a big game, especially for Grays Lake Central taking on a tough Antioch team. Grays Lake Central looks good. Dakota, no. And we got to talk about it so I don't get yelled at by Kyle from NUIC fans. Dupac versus Lena Winslow is the big game in NUIC. And I just feel that game. I feel that game in my bones. I feel that Dupac has got a good shot at upsetting Lena Winslow. And if I eat crow, I'll eat crow. But I just got a good feeling that Dupac's going to upset Lena Winslow. That's just my personal feeling. And if I have to eat crow, I will eat crow. And I will apologize and call myself a dumbass. No doubt about that. Not that much going on in the Sagamore Conference. Let's go down to South Central. Not that good. Vandalia, by the way, big shout out to them. They're playing their butts off right now. Vandalia, they're looking really good. Cuyahoga's probably gonna get that win over Mount Vernon, no doubt about that. Marion, I'm gonna think they're gonna get that win over Centralia. Carmdale, I think they're gonna get that win in South 7, the South 7 thing. Nah, that's gonna be a blowout. Richards at Evergreen Park. That's a huge game in the South Suburban Red. Evergreen Park is shocking people, and they're going against the tough Richards 1-loss team. That's going to be a big game in the South Suburban Red. Big shout out to Torres, their athlete of Evergreen Park. Keep an eye out for him. He's going to be a hell of a player. And yeah, definitely. And Oaklawn, big shout out to Oaklawn football as well. They're doing big things right now. Definitely keep an eye out for them in the coming years. Oaklawn football, no doubt about that. Murfreesboro versus Harrisburg, good game. Massac County at Benton. Benton's unbelievable. Keegan Glover, he's playing lights out. Definitely a game you got to check out. As well, Kankakee High School, Cremoni, they're the big dogs of the Southland, no doubt about that. Oswego East at Yorkville is going to be another huge game. Oswego East lost to Manuka last week, so definitely a game you got to check out. Homewood Flossmoor, Lincoln Way East. Can Lincoln Way East bounce back after an upset loss to Sandburg? A complete shocking loss. Lockport at Bolingbrook. Another big game in that Southwest Suburban Blue. Yeah. Win. I'm just looking at some of these teams, and that looks like a little bit of a blowout win. A few big matchups, but just some big blowout wins. Mendota Quinoa. Quinoa is a huge game in the Three Rivers, Mississippi Conference. No doubt about that. Princeton at St. Bede, another big game. Hull, Sterling, St. Newman. We got some good matchups in the Three Rivers, Mississippi. No doubt about that. Where are you? Glenbard East at Bartlett is going to be another huge game in Upstate 8. Make sure you check out the DuPage County Run Shoot with my co-host Patrick Cotto on Thursday. We'll talk about that game as well. Clifton Central versus Iroquois West. I'm telling you, that's a real dog game right there. That's a real deal game right there. Bismarck Kent, no. Willowbrook, no. Sorry about that. Glenbard West versus Downers Grove North. Hinsdale Central at York in the West Suburban Silver. Big matchups in the West Suburban Silver. York beats Glenbard West, as everyone knows. Big game for Coach Fitzgerald. DGN, they had their one loss to York, and now they're taking on Glenbard West. I thought DGN lost to Hinsdale Central, if I'm not mistaken. I think they did. So there are 2 losses, and they're playing Glenbard West. This should be an interesting game as Glenbard West takes on DGN. Definitely pay attention to that. Both games in the West Suburban Silver could shape up some of the bigger schools, especially when we get into the playoffs. Not that much going on in the Western Big Sixes, I see. And we go down. Western Illinois North. Beardstown at Cap Point Central, but what Beardstown are we going to get? And that's going to be a very interesting thing. They win the big games, but they lose the small games. So be very interesting. Brown County versus Mendon Unity. Mendon Unity got a big upset, if I'm not mistaken, last week. Definitely game you got to check out. West Central versus Carrollton. Wow, that's actually a good game to watch. Definitely a big game to check out, no doubt about that. St. Patrick at Fenwick's always an interesting game. I think St. Rita's going to get that win over Marion, no doubt about that in Week 7. Still keep an eye out for Eureka, even though they lost to El Paso Gridley. Grant City normal community is absolutely killing it right now. I don't want to play them. They're going to win it. They're going to win that game, no doubt about that. Montini at Marist. Montini's probably going to lose that game. Julia Catholic versus Brother Rice. Huge game in the state of Illinois. And Brother Rice is riding high after that big win over Mount Carmel. No doubt about that. That's not a good game. That game got canceled. That game got canceled as well due to COVID protocol. And then Chicago Academy is still looking for a game. I believe Bennett Academy is as looking for a game as well. And I do not know why Chicago Leo is playing Nazareth. It makes absolutely no sense. Riverside Brookfield at IC. That's a really big dog game right there. Wheaton St. Francis versus Kankakee. Bishop Mack. Can Bishop Mack bounce back? This is a big test for them as they take on a very tough St. Francis team. No doubt about that. Rochelle at Canelan. Rochelle needs to be talked about more. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm putting the notes down for tonight when I do Deep Dish Football Live at 8 p.m. I need to talk more about Rochelle. No doubt about that. And that is about it for Week 7. Gibson City at Tri-Valley. That's another interesting game as well as we get into Week 7. Big announcements coming later next week, talking about the playoff schedule, playoff announcements. I'm going to have a few special shows on Saturday. I'm excited. I think a lot of people are excited about this. It should be a lot of fun as we get into Saturday on Week 9, after Week 9, talking about the preparing Shonad, and might be in the Quincy area Week 9. Wink, wink. So we'll see what happens there. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email. Follow Coach Big P and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Deep Dish Football Live tonight, 8 p.m. Thursday. Do page run and shoot with my co-host, Patrick the Brain Cotto of NC-17, Naperville Community Television. He does a wonderful job. He's a hell of an announcer. He's got a bright future. A young guy, too. And if you have any questions, my email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Let's get ready for Week 7, everyone. And, I will see you guys on Deep Dish Football Live tonight, 8 p.m. Thank you guys so much, and cannot wait to get the Black Diamond Country Deep Dish Football Road Trip 2021. Sesser-Valier versus Johnston City. I'm excited. This is 5 years in the making, and finally, I'm going to Black Diamond Country. Thank you guys so much for joining, and have a lovely day.